the beginning of the film, we see the end of the world. Resources have run out, and global temperatures have risen drastically, even melting the ice in Antarctica. As the ice melted, ancient viruses trapped within were released, spreading deadly pandemics across the Earth. The few remaining humans started dying rapidly. Governments and wealthy individuals decided to abandon the planet and escape to other planets using rockets. However, their decision was rushed, and they had no proper planning. They didn't know how to reach other planets or how to survive there. As a result, many rockets were destroyed in space, and people perished before reaching their destination. Back on Earth, the few remaining survivors either died of hunger and thirst or killed each other in violent conflicts. Now, the only human left on the planet is a girl named Eva. She lives in a military base on top of the mountains with a robot. This military base was built by her father, and the robot also belonged to him. The robot guards the perimeter, ensuring Eva's safety and preventing anyone from stealing her supplies. One day, Eva prepares to go down from her base to gather essential supplies. The robot gives her strict instructions: not to drink the water below and to carry an extra oxygen supply. When she reaches the ruins of the world below, she searches for a superstore and collects necessary items. While scavenging, she finds lavender seeds. She knows that growing them in this environment will be difficult, but she refuses to lose hope. She believes that she will eventually find another survivor like her. Before leaving, she writes her location outside the store, hoping that if any survivor exists, they will get to her. Back at home, Eva finds the robot waiting for her. Every time she returns, she has to provide a password before entering. Even if she leaves the house 10 times a day, she must enter the password each time. One day, she gets frustrated and intentionally enters the wrong password. Instantly, the robot points a gun at her. Panicked, Eva quickly enters the correct password to save herself and finally enters her home. Inside, Eva takes a shower to wash off any potential viruses from the outside world. She has also built a small greenhouse where she grows food for herself. Her daily life revolves around gathering supplies, growing food, and generating energy. Recently, she has been installing solar panels to ensure a stable energy source. She does everything alone while the robot merely patrols the area. One day, Eva jokingly proposes marriage to the robot. However, being an AI, the robot doesn't understand humor, simply explains the definition of marriage and states that a human and a robot cannot get married. Eva sadly asks, "Then what about me? There's no one else left in this world except you." Through their conversation, it becomes clear that Eva's father built this base and left to join his battalion, promising to return soon. But years have passed and he never came back. The robot begins to understand Eva a little more, tells her that it can only function for 40 years, and after that it will stop working, and it asks what will happen to her then. Eva jokingly replies that she will find another robot. Eva asks the robot about its rules. It explains 3 main rules. 1. Robots cannot harm humans. 2. Robots must obey human orders. 3. Robots must protect themselves unless doing so harms a human or disobeys an order. Eva reminds the robot that it was also programmed for a 4th task: to find new energy sources. The robot, however, insists that its only duty is security and that it was not designed for resource collection. Its primary job is to protect Eva and prevent unauthorized access. Defines unauthorized as anyone who does not know the password. Eva argues that this is wrong. She recalls how, when humanity was collapsing, robots like this one blocked desperate human from crossing the borders, even though they were dying from extreme heat. 'Cause these humans didn't know the password, the robots didn't let them pass, leading to the deaths of the last survivors. She tells the robot that it was responsible for killing the most people. However, she acknowledges that the robots were later reprogrammed. She wishes she could reprogram them again so they would remember their past mistakes. Even now, Eva doesn't feel entirely safe around the robot, but she cannot shut it down because only her father knew how to do that. As Christmas approaches, Eva asks the robot if it wants a gift. The robot responds, "Robots don't accept gifts." This reminder of her lonely existence saddens Eva, and she tells the robot, "At least pretend to be human." Later that evening, the robot approaches her and says, "If you truly want to give me a gift, give me an eye, a way to see everything." Eva is surprised but considers the request. The next morning, Eva prepares to go down again to find an artificial Christmas tree, as real trees no longer exist. Before she leaves, the robot repeats its instructions. carry extra oxygen and don't drink the water. When Eva returns, she is asked about the password to get inside. However, this time when she enters the password, it is incorrect. The robot immediately points its gun at her. Eva realizes that the robot's password automatically resets every 3 months, and the new password is written in her father's journal, inside the house. Since she is locked outside, she cannot retrieve the correct password. Desperate, she pleads with the robot to let her inside for just a minute so she can find the password. However, the robot refuses to listen. She grows increasingly weak from thirst and exhaustion. Now, Eva is utterly exhausted. She spends the night outside, hoping to find another way in, but the robot remains stationed in front of the entrance, refusing to budge. By morning, her condition worsens from hunger and dehydration. She knows she must get inside somehow. She came up with a new idea. She wore her clothes inside out and altered her appearance before approaching the robot. She told the robot that she was a refugee and needed its help. She explained that, according to the robot's laws, it was obligated to assist her because she was a refugee. After all, refugees seeking asylum in another place should be given shelter if they are in danger in their homeland. The robot asked that what kind of refugee is she? A disaster refugee or a political refugee? Eva knew that disaster refugees typically don't have to leave their country, so she replies that she a political refugee, implying that she came from a war-torn country. The robot agreed to help but asked her to walk around from behind so it could scan her thoroughly. Eva complied, but when she returned, she had unknowingly reverted to her original appearance. This was her mistake. When the robot scanned her again, it no longer identified her as a refugee. As a result, it refused to provide her shelter. The third time, when Eva appears before the robot in her actual appearance, the robot tells her that a while ago, a stranger and a refugee came here, but it turned them away. Eva thought that the robot might be recalling some new details. She pleaded the robot let her in, but once again, the robot demands a password. Exhausted, Eva decides to leave. Before leaving, she tells the robot that next time when a refugee comes here, at least give them water. Later, Eva disguises herself as a refugee again and approaches the robot, asking for water. However, before giving her any, the robot begins an investigation. It asks for her documents. Furious, Eva protests that she is a refugee. She escaped from a war zone. How could she possibly have documents? Hearing this, the robot insists that she must provide an explanation for why she wants to stay in their country. Eva makes up a false story, saying that all her family members have died in the war, and now she is alone and her life is in danger. Frustrated, she asks for water again, but the robot replies that it will only give water to a refugee after it first gives it to Eva, and it will only give water to Eva when she tells the correct password. Eva has forgotten the password. She has to spend another night outside. Hungry and thirsty, her body grows weaker. By morning, she becomes desperate. She begs the robot to give her just a little water or let her in for even a second. The robot replies he is sorry, but it cannot help her. It would have helped if she was the last human on Earth, but just yesterday it encountered a refugee and a stranger, which means she is not the only one alive and her value has decreased. Eva is too weak to argue. The robot then informs her there is a power plant nearby. It often detects its activity, which means there might be people there. If there are people, there might be food and water. Without thinking twice, Eva starts walking toward the power plant, but her oxygen supply is running low since all her extra oxygen tanks are inside her home. Despite this, she enters the power plant. It is a deep underground, and it takes her a long time to descend. Fortunately, she finds some water bottles and oxygen cylinders. However, upon breaking through a door to enter another section, she discovers that all the water bottles were empty. Worse, the plant is emitting radiation that can harm her body, and she has already been exposed to it. Gathering what little strength she has left, she struggles to return to her camp. As a last resort to survive, she decides to destroy the robot. She rams her vehicle into it at full speed, but the robot is made of incredibly strong metal. Instead of damaging the robot, her vehicle catches fire. The next morning, Eva's condition has worsened significantly. She is barely breathing. With her remaining strength, she buries some plant seeds in the ground, hoping they will grow someday. Seeing this, the robot approached her and reports about an unknown entity attacking it the previous night. Eva is too weak to focus on the robot's words. She only begs for water, but the robot responds that it is under attack. It cannot leave its post or abandon its duty. Due to dehydration, Eva begins hallucinating. She sees herself in fine clothes, enjoying life in a beautiful world. At one point, she hallucinates that her father has come to give her water, but in reality, it is just the robot once again asking for her password. By now, Eva has no strength left to speak. The robot then informs her that if she dies, its password will automatically reset. Ignoring this, Eva made one final request to water the seed she planted. With those words, she passes away. The robot then sets its new password to lavender. Even after witnessing the death of the last human, the robot felt nothing. It was merely artificial intelligence. The movie concludes with the message that AI can never truly feel emotions like humans do. I hope you liked my video. If you did, please like and share it. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. We keep bringing such content regularly. Peace.